How would you like to save $1,000 a year? Most of us drive many miles a year, and by choosing the right car, you could be saving money just by driving. I am Derek Williams. I have over 10 years of experience as a diesel mechanic, and my personal vehicle is a diesel. I have had many vehicles over the course of my life, but by far my favorite is the diesel. It just provides very many benefits, and it provides mileage that's unrivaled for the exact same equivalent gasoline engine. Diesel vehicles can be a cheaper and more reliable option than gasoline. I provided a PowerPoint if you want to look at slide 2 now. Excuse me, slide 3. 4. Fuel costs can be a significant part of a household's budget, but if you choose the right vehicle, you can make substantial savings over the life of your car. While I can't guarantee that you'll save that $1,000, I can show you that's a reasonable number depending on your driving habits, and you could even save even more. For example, according to a Hart Energy Consulting, diesel vehicles get 20 to 40% better mileage. For examples, I looked at fueleconomy.gov. The average car gets 25 miles per gallon. For example, a diesel Volkswagen Jetta gets 42. And right from their website, that's a savings of $1,200 over the course of 5 years. Excuse me. But if you look at slide 5, that's not the only way you'll be saving money by owning a diesel. According to an article from DeMuro 2014, diesel vehicles have a higher resale value. This can be useful if you trade cars often, as you'll get a better resale value when you go to sell, which means or trade-in value. The higher resale value will also help offset the initial purchase price, which can be anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000 or more, depending on if you're buying luxury. But for the case of this, we're looking at economy. So that Jetta, for example, is about $2,000 more. When you go to sell it, you won't have to sell it for as little as you would a gasoline. That's not the only way you save money by owning a diesel vehicle, however. If you look at slide 6, diesel vehicles tend to last longer. The inherent design of the diesel engine requires it to be stronger just from the higher pressures inside the engine. So what this means is that the engine lasts longer than a gasoline of the same size and type. The drivetrain is typically the limiting factor of a vehicle. So if the engine lasts longer, the vehicle tends to last longer. This also has a benefit to the environment. This means less junk vehicles are put into the junkyards and need to be recycled. If you want to look at slide 7, I put this in this slide because this is what people typically think of when they think of a diesel engine. They think of this big black bellowing smoke. And that used to be the case, but nowadays a diesel vehicle, look at slide 8, the diesel vehicles are better for the environment now because one big thing is ultra-low sulfur diesel fuel. They put ultra-low sulfur diesel fuel in. This started around 2007, being a requirement. That contains 97% less sulfur than the previous standard. This reduces soot emissions 10%, and think of it like the unleaded vehicles in the 70s. It's the same idea that you're eliminating some of the initial emissions that are just coming out the tailpipe that were already in the gasoline. If you remove it from the vehicle, from the fuel, it won't go through the tailpipe to begin with. So it is one big way that eliminated some of the emissions. Now, the next part is in a study by Bloom on 2012, diesel engines emit 5 to 30% less greenhouse gases per distance traveled. And that's an important factor because a lot of times they try to use per gallon, which is a deceiving fact because if you look back at my first point, the diesel vehicles have 20 to 40% more miles per gallon. So when you look at it per miles traveled, there's much better emission standards out of a diesel than there is gasoline. The other effect that ultra low sulfur diesel fuel allowed was multiple forms of emission reductions have been made standard on these vehicles that weren't possible before that sulfur was removed. One of these is exhaust gas recirculation. That actually was on there before the ultra low sulfur diesel fuel, but has come much more into effect now after the sulfur was removed. Exhaust gas recirculation basically takes and puts some of the bad emissions that are coming out of the exhaust and puts them back into the engine to be further reduced down so that they are less of an effect to the emissions. Diesel particulate filters have been added, and that is another big one. It eliminates a lot of the very fine particulate matters inside of the exhaust. It's a lot of that black soot that you would see before, the hydrocarbons. Those are all greatly reduced by these particulate filters, and again, that wasn't allowed or able to be produced before the sulfur was removed from the fuel, because that was a large part. It would plug these filters if they tried to use them with the sulfur. However, now it almost eliminates all of the black smoke. And another big thing is the diesel exhaust fluid. This is basically it's urea, it's cow urine that's been reduced, and I wasn't able to really find in my research why that is the best option. However, what it does is it basically acts like a catalytic converter in your car, and it attacks the fine particulate matter and excuse me, just puts it down to a finer, even smaller particle, and it attacks those so that less emissions are coming out of your tailpipe. Now, if you look at slide 9, another great benefit of the diesel engine is that it's more powerful. 9 of the last 24-hour Le Mans races have been won by a diesel. The diesel engine has more torque, and that's how those race cars are able to go, is they don't need to shift as often because they don't need to downshift, upshift, because they can stay in the power band because of that great torque that the diesel has. The overall performance is just one of the factors that's great, but it's also with that 24 hours especially, is the reliability. That is inherent design, again, with that being built to a stronger standard just to withstand the inherent design of the engine. Another great effect of that torque is that it means diesel is ideal for towing compared to a gasoline or any other engine on the market right now for consumers. The diesel engine excuse me, can tow more load, and it can get better mileage doing that. So that's a great example of just the benefit in practical use. You don't have to have the trailer. It still gets better mileage. It's just, if the more load you put on it, the better mileage it gets compared to its gasoline counterpart. Slide 10. Diesel vehicles can be a cheaper and more reliable option than gasoline. Modern diesels will save you money through efficiency and resale value, while being better for the environment and have more power compared to a similar gasoline. So next time you need a vehicle, please consider diesel. You will enjoy many benefits, and you will be doing the environment a favor. Thank you for listening, and have a great day.